Gathering and exhibition on the 50th anniversary of the South African Council on Sport. SACOS advocated its campaign under the slogan, "No normal sport in an abnormal society," during the apartheid era. In over 50 years since the formation of SACOS, Van der Horst remains as resolute as ever in his principles.
I don't think it's an honor necessarily. I think it's part of our work. In portraying what I'm doing, they're encouraging other people to do equal and better, and to build commitment and principles. We don't build people individually, we build leadership and principle leaders. That is the main aim.
This helped to galvanize marginalized citizens into formidable force to resist the establishment agenda.
I was a school sports person in the 1980s, and growing up in the 1980s, the name of Frank van der Horst and SACOS was something that you could not miss. So on a personal level, I suppose it is to recover that kind of nostalgia. But as what was brought out this evening also, it's also to look at, where we went wrong in sport.
In 1970, the apartheid government introduced a new multinational sport policy. It was an attempt to convince the international community into believing it was making significant reforms to its segregation policies.
The remembering of SACOS at its 50th anniversary and honoring people such as Frank van der Horst needs to be commended. But more needs to be done. As Lenin would have said, what is to be done? The challenge for all of us is to rebuild the consciousness of non-racialism and of the evils and barbarism of abnormal societies everywhere in the world. Racism remains rife in all facets of society, not only in Constantia and Bishop's Court, but sadly also the KwaMashu's, Chatsworth and Mitchell's Plains. Racial self-classification is the new norm.
At the time, South Africa was expelled from the International Olympic Committee and a number of international sport federations. Flowing from that, SACOS was instrumental in mobilizing the sports community to resist the then government's attempt to keep politics out of sport. A struggle which 85-year-old Van der Horst is not willing to let go and is still advocating for change in all key personal character-forming areas in society, including sport and education.
The only people who can change it are the bulk of the people of the country. If they demand it, there must be change. And I think it's coming to that. The electric crisis is in the embryo, a major development. It's going to destroy the economy unless they come and do something radical. They have choices, but their choices are very limited. If they spend too much money, they're going to cripple and destroy the economy. They spend too little, the people are going to revolt. So they got a very tough balance, and they haven't got much reserves to deal with it. They know it, they say themselves.
SACOS also played its part in resisting and protesting against the rebel sporting tours of the 1970s and 1980s, which were aimed at crippling the sporting boycott of the apartheid regime. Part of the art collection at the exhibition at the South African National Library includes the dress code of SACOS since its inception 50 years ago. Mlamli Maneli, SABC News, Cape Town.